Right, a big welcome to Steven Carlberg from Lansing FC to the non-league radio show. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, everyone. How are we all?
Great stuff. We're all good. Right,
Good.
before we get into your role at Lansing, just to find out a little bit more about yourself and your past and your involvement in football.
Yeah, of course. My name's Stephen. I'm 40 years old. Played football played for Brighton up to a certain age. When I got released, always kept an eye on the football. When I had my son, very much keen to get into football, which when he was old enough, took him down to the local team. He joined, and I became manager of Lancing Under Sevens overnight. Bit of a whirlwind, and then we're under 10s at the moment.
So it must be quite good being a local lad and then playing for your team, managing teams, and then eventually ending up part of the main setup at Lansing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, in Lancing and Brent, always had one eye on their fixtures. Always sort of kept a lookout, and I go down as much as I can to see them. All a bit of a whirlwind. I never expected to be involved in the first team set up so soon. So it was quite a shock, but very excited. And it being my home team as well, it's I want to do well. I want to thrive. So it's something I've always wanted to do, and I'm now part of it. So I wouldn't change it for the world at the moment.
So how did that process begin? Did somebody get in touch with you from the club, or I know
Um,
Dean's in charge. I don't know if Dean got in touch with you or some other methods.
yeah. So we spoke about it in the pub a few times. Um, saying one day it'd be good to manage your local team, and then a few weeks down the line, you're thinking something I would certainly want to do. Let's get a bit more involved. So started going a lot more. I've got connections there anyway, via the youth setup. So we've always been welcomed. And then after, I think it was training one night with the under 10s, we'd heard that the joint managers had left to go to Haywards Heath, and pretty much we text the chairman just to say, we're here if you need us. And the next day, boom, job done. So it's something I couldn't say no to.
And was that you? Everyone that's in the team list there on the website, was all those members then, or was a few more come together?
Yeah, so the majority of them are there. We've got a young defender who's come in from Eastbourne Borough, Sam Ball. We've brought in Charlie Towning. Um, uh, there's a couple of players that we'd like to get in, obviously. Budget isn't brilliant, but you make do with what you've got. We are very, very keen on promoting within. So myself and Dean have got involved in the under 18s, who have a great manager, and we've got, I think, 4 players that we've signed up into the first team just to help their development. And you never know, they work hard, they get a place on the bench. We're never going to turn anyone away, really.
No, I've had a little search on Dean. Obviously, Dean's got a lot of league experience. I see he played a lot of games for Brighton. He's played a lot of games for Leyton Orient. So his
Yeah,
experience as well must come in very handy.
absolutely. I think having someone who's been in a professional dressing room, he's played over 500 league matches, I believe, in total. Someone like that, I think, instantly gains respect. Our first league game, we hadn't met the team by then. It was literally first game in. We met them there and then, and I think that the respect that he got straight away was good. They came on board with what we wanted them to do, and I think it helps having someone that's played professionally will help the players as well. I can't argue with that one really.
So I'm going to move on to your setup you've got there. Obviously,
Mm,
you play at Culver Road. I
yes.
was trying to find out what the capacity was, but it didn't have it on Wikipedia. So I don't know if you know what the capacity is off the top of your head or
Um,
approximately.
I think you could safely. There's one side of it is a stand, and then you've got standing area. I think you could probably get 1,000, maybe just over, in there. I don't think it's sort of public knowledge how many you can get in there really, but there's plenty of room for over 1,000 if needs be.
And you're playing the Isthmian, if I've said it right, League South East Division, which I was
Isthmian.
checking.
Yeah.
Is how do you pronounce it?
It's the Istamin.
Istamin.
It's pronounced
There you
Istamin.
go.
Yeah, South East League. Yeah,
Which
it's
is
a bit of a mouthful because it's part of the pitching in, but it's still very competitive.
I was going to say step 4. Looking at my poster here, if that's correct.
It is correct. Yes.
In the promotion, the top team goes up, and then there's a playoff, I believe, for the next.
There is, and the same for relegation as well. I believe I think it's 2 actually go down, and then there's a playoff to the third one.
And I think so. Obviously, I was looking if you get in the Premier, there's 4 relegated from there. I don't know how that works, which league they go into, or whether they have to try and separate them into obviously areas the best they can.
I think it's how the conference North and South is. You get 2 up because there's a South East League. I think then you've got South West. So it's all merged into like that. We're trying not to get too ahead of ourselves looking at how it works, but it's similar to the National League.
I mean, I had a look at I know you're talking about not looking too far ahead. Obviously, I think you've got 3 home games coming up. You've got a cup match and 2 league matches.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you there's not many points between where you are and quite high up the league. So if you were to win a few games, you would catapult quite high up the league.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we've got a game in hand as well. So if you throw 6 points in our next 2 home games, league games, and that 9 points, I mean, you go from sort of scrapping at the bottom to fighting for possibly a playoff place. It's strange how that works.
Yeah, I was going to say I've done a lot of interviews recently with some Scottish leagues as well, and it's funny how there's not much gap between the teams, like just above the bottom to nearly playoff positions. It's crazy.
It is. I mean, you say 6 wins can jump you 7 or 8 places, but it's getting those wins as well. It's tough. It is tough. We learned a lesson away at Beckenham on Saturday, but you know, who knows? You go on a good run, but then you've got the other teams around you as well that you've got to hope struggle. So we do our homework. We make sure that we can pick up as many points as we can. 2 wins out of 3 is very acceptable start in my eyes.
So you touched on under 18s earlier. How many teams do you have at Lanson from the first to the juniors?
So we have an under 7s side. It starts from there. There is was it like an under 6 type, but they don't play football. It's merely training. So we've got an under 7s. We've got an under 8s. There's 2 under 9s. There's 2 under 10s. There's 3 under 11s. 2 under 12s. An under 15s and an under 18. So we're very popular because we have that pathway to the first team that certain other teams don't. But there's a lot of good young local players, which it's all about the community side of things.
Yeah, and you mentioned you had a full-time job as well.
Yes.
Is everybody semi-professional, or some people like university or college?
Yeah. I mean, I have I believe that some are at university, some do work, some have got their own little businesses. We've got a doctor as well who anchors our midfield. There's a vast array of people that do go out and work and then commit themselves to 2 nights of training and 90 minutes each week. So credit to them, really.
Yeah, I've always found that amazing how people can have a full-time job, train twice a week, and then you may have 3 matches in a week if you have to play a midweek match.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, tomorrow, for example, is a great example of utilising the squad. You know that there are people that will be tired from the weekend, but then they've gone to work Monday, Tuesday, and they want to play as well. So that's a credit to them.
Yeah, and good employers as well.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
I don't know what your travel's like. I don't know what your furthest travel is down there within your league for a weekend or a midweek match.
It's Sheppey United, I think, is the furthest. That's it's about a 2-hour trip, and it's on the southeast coast. So it's towards, I think, Felixstowe, that sort of way. It's well into Kent.
And you train twice a week, you said. Is that it? Maybe
yes.
Tuesday and a Thursday, depending if you've got a midweek match?
Yeah. So, a full training session Tuesday. And then we worked it to be a drill night Thursday ahead of Saturday's game. But obviously, if there's no game on the Tuesday, they will have a little winding down session. So it's an hour and a half each session, hour and a half to 2, depending on what we want from them and how well we played the previous game.
And I want to touch on sort of as well as the playing stuff, the non-playing stuff that you've got. Obviously, you mentioned yourself. You've got Dean. How many other sort of guys are in the mainstay of your coaching setup?
So we've got Dean, who's the gaffer. Then Will Hendon, who is the assistant manager and head coach. Then you've got myself, who's coach, and I do some of the admin side of it as well. And then you've got Ross Ball, who's coach, goalkeeper coach, and the kit man.
So it's quite a few involved.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we like to call ourselves the Fab Four, but how long that lasts is another thing.
If you start winning games, you'll be the Fab Four. No
problem. Absolutely. We'll start by tomorrow night, shall we?
Yeah, that's a first start. And then something else I'd like to touch on is your fan base. Sort of amount of people you get through the gates on a weekend or through the week.
We had our highest gate of the season on the 2nd of January, which was a local derby against Littlehampton, which was just shy of 500. I think we get anywhere between 200 to 300. It depends. You get a lot of supporters that will come and watch us if Brighton are away, for example, and if the other team down the road, Worthing, are away, they'll pop along and see us. So it does vary. But they're a good bunch, the crowd. It's nice to sit on the opposite side of things. I've spent years looking at the dugout, and all of a sudden now I'm facing the crowd. So it's good. They're a good loyal bunch, friendly faces, and they're all local Lancing lads and lasses. Really is what I can say.
And I'm just looking at your Twitter, your Lancing FC on Twitter for everyone listening. There's a couple of things I've noticed. It says young guns signed for the first team, continue their development. Rory Callaghan, George and Alfie. And you've had a new signing, which I seen 6 hours ago. If you want,
Mo Jawara, yes.
And I'm guessing he's played. Has he played for you before? It says he's back, so I'm guessing he must have.
He has, yeah. He played for us early part of last season. He's quite a popular fan favourite. Loves a somersault celebration, if I remember correctly. And then, we were keen to get that one over the line quite quick, which we have done. But he's cup tied for tomorrow, having played for another team in the Senior Cup. But we hope to have him fit and ready for Haywards Heath on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just looking. And is that your dressing room on the top of your Twitter there? I'm guessing it must be.
I believe. Yeah, I believe so. Yes,
so it's quite smart setup there as well.
It is. I mean, it deceives when driving up to it. It does deceive, but once you get into the car park and then you enter the ground, it is a lovely setup, lovely ground down there. It's 4G pitch as well, so the whole of the community use it, and the games aren't going to be off. But it's a really nice setup down there.
The website for everyone is lancingfc.co.uk. Go and check it out. It's a good website as well. I love it when teams have got good website and social media. And as always, I'm impressed. I don't know who does your social media, but the guys that put all the information on social media, it's cracking stuff.
It is. I believe it's our chairman and his son Jack that do that. So yeah, they're very active. We got the signings over the line yesterday, and straight away they were on there with their little bios about the players as well. So it is good. It does get good views as well. I think people click on it quite a lot, not just Lancing fans, other fans as well. So things these days, that's what it's all about. Active website, active Twitter account, and people will come and from out of town and see you as well, which is good.
I forgot to ask before, when you're doing your away games, do you have transport on, or do you just take your own cars and stuff? It's just interesting to hear how different teams operate.
It was our first away game on Saturday, so we drove up there. The coaching team went up there together, which is what we aim to do anyway. But I believe there is a coach to certain games because of the mileage. So that is something to look at in the future as well. Is travelling as a team together, but it's money at the end of the day.
Yeah, it is.
You know, we've got a cracking chairman. He's a really good guy. So he's a pleasure to work with. He's really friendly. He's helpful if you need him. You know, he's on the other end of the phone. But we still need, obviously, money coming in like any other clubs to make it a successful team.
Yeah. So what are sort of Dean's and yourselves and your team sort of short term and long term ambitions, if that's a way to word it?
Yeah. Haven't really looked long term. Short term is keeping Lancing in the league, and then having a good pre-season, and carrying on next season in the same league and better whatever we do this season. Long term, haven't really thought about it. Just take each day as it comes at the moment, but we're enjoying it, so that is a plus.
Yeah, well, win the next 2 league games, and I think you're going a long way towards stopping yourself from being relegated. Anyway, I would say.
I think so. I think there's a point goal we want to achieve. The quicker we can do that, the quicker we can relax, and I do think the planning for next season will then start. But until we achieve that, we keep fighting, we keep battling on. Points are precious in these leagues.
Yeah, because just looking there, Haywards Heath, who you play, obviously just a point ahead of yourselves, and Sevenoaks aren't too far away either.
No, they're not. No, and then we go to Burgess Hill as well, and then we got our rearranged game against Chichester. So I'd love to take 12 points out of 12, but then you've got to be realistic. You can only win what's in front of you.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you would like to get out? I know you want to try and get a bit more information out about Lancing, which we have.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I get to find out lots of things as well about clubs which I never knew, and look at league tables and make friends.
Yeah. I mean, we're the home of Sussex County FA is at Culver Road as well. So effectively, we play there on their pitch. It's our ground, but it's shared with Sussex County FA, who I believe own it. So it's quite nice. We've got a good working relationship with them as well. So it's quite nice. It's not nice for Lancing to have like a football hub, especially by the seaside as well.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the next up match. Bar open at 18:30, which is always helpful having a bar at a football ground.
It is. I mean, we've got a lovely clubhouse. They show football. They've got all these Sky Sports News on. The bar ladies there are fantastic, and the canteen, and it's great. And the majority of them are volunteers as well. So I've got to give all the volunteers that work at the club a big pat on the back, because it's no mean feat. It's working all day, coming in and serving what could potentially be 400 or 500 people. And then going home and then getting up for their day job the next day. So there's a lot of credit to them as well.
Yeah, good shout out. And is the bar open only when the matches is on, or is the bar open?
Yes, it is. It is. I believe we can only serve the alcohol when games are going. But people come in quite early. have a couple of drinks, watch a bit of football on TV, socialise, have a burger or a portion of chips, and get ready for the game. So it's quite good to see, being part of the coaching, you see it completely reversed around. So it's a good environment, especially when we win.
Oh, great stuff. And I'm going to give a few links out. Yourself on Twitter is at Stevie Carl. Lanson FC is Lanson FC. Dean Cox, if you want to get Dean. Dean just follows back the day. Dean_7 Cox. Website is lansonfc.co.uk. Please go and check them out. Give the guys a follow and show them your support. That's all I can say. It's been great talking to you, Stevie.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you very much for your time. Really enjoyed it.
No problem. Thank you.